A word about people with disabilities. I believe that everyone who's ever had a disability or who has a disability is a victim. And I'm using the word victim in the sense that they've been harmed. They've been harmed by the medical establishment, or they've been harmed maybe even in a past life. You know, they were engaged in some kind of battle or some kind of, problem or something, and they got harmed. So I'm not saying that the victims can't be perpetrators long ago, but I am saying that they are victims now, meaning that they have to go through that karma now for, whatever happened. And to add to that, I'd like to say that I think most disabled people are victims of the modern medical establishment, because I have multiple disabled people in my family, and my family is very intellectual and they're very healthy individuals. Okay, my family is not really weak, like our genes are not weak and stuff like that. So we're not inbred or whatever, like we have strong genes. But I still have several disabled people in my family. And the reason is because of the medical establishment. My grandmother, she had two children who were, one of them is born without arms, and that's my uncle, and I love him, and he's on Facebook, so what up, Unc? And then my other one is my auntie, and she probably wouldn't even admit that anything was wrong with her, because but she went to have a psychiatric evaluation, and they said that she had the mind of a 7-year-old. And that's the truth. I mean, her cognition, her comprehension and things like that is young, and also her responses to things are very immature. Well, we would say immature, but for her, it's just who she is. Like she's kind of like developmentally delayed. We'll say it that way. But everything else in her body works perfectly well. She doesn't look different or anything like that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that there's nothing wrong. She had a son who is visibly different. But what I'm trying to say is that my grandmother, before she died, she told me that she took some, back in the 50s, they had these experimental drugs that they were asking pregnant women to take. And they were just like, taking it. Pregnant women was taking drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, which blows me away. I'm like, how the hell could you? I wouldn't even take a Advil or anything when I was pregnant. Like I didn't even drink when I was pregnant. So that's a big deal. But nah, for real though, like wow, ain't that crazy? Like what the hell? So it's happening right now again though, like with this whole thing that they're making people get shots for and stuff like that. There's pregnant women right now who are getting shots and stuff. And then so the medical establishment is like, okay, so they're accepting this, so then we're gonna make it mandatory that these women get these kind of shots and stuff. Why does your unborn child need a shot? I mean, come on. That's doing too much. Anyway, most of the people that are born today, most of the boomers, not today, but most of the boomers and Gen X and people that have disabilities, I honestly believe that they are victims. They are victims of a system that is broken, that doesn't really take into consideration human life and human well-being. This system is interested in profit. And human life is worth more than that. Human life is worth more than profit. We are this earth. This is us, this is our thing. Like, don't try to just make that into profit, So I really feel like disabled people deserve our utmost compassion and our utmost sympathy because they are victims. And I think all victims need our utmost compassion, our utmost sympathy. Anyone who's been a victim of human trafficking, anyone who's a slave right now, and there's slaves all over the world, learn about it. Okay? Slavery is a real thing right now. There's people who are kidnapped and forced to be slaves, men, women, children, everybody. So, anybody who has that kind of disadvantage, like just straight off the bat, they deserve society's utmost compassion. And I know there's some people who are going to feel like that's going to be a bit of a downgrade for them. I get that, especially white privileged individuals. They feel like that's a little bit of a downgrade for them to really, have that compassion and to really feel at one with the people who've been victimized. But I think it's important that we all do that to the extent that we are able. Don't you?